Hi everyone, I'm Kerry. I work for Burnley Youth Theatre Outreach Department. Hopefully you will have made a puppet with Taylor and then you would have looked at the voice and the movement with Rosie, and now you're thinking about what story to make with your puppet. I have made 4 puppets. So this is my first one. This is the one out of the egg box, and it's got a nice big mouth. I think it's probably quite a greedy, hungry kind of character, but probably quite friendly as well, unless you think sure it's dinner. We have this one, which is my fish character, and I think it's probably quite a nervous one. It shakes a lot, it moves around a lot, quite quick moving. Perhaps sometimes blurts things out, not really sure why it said it. Then I have 2 more that I made because Taylor said just find things around your house, make them into puppets. So this is an old hand wash bottle with various bits of sewing, braid and a reel on the back as a hat. I think this is probably a dressmaking kind of character, somebody who likes to organise things, boss people about, gets a little bit stressed with things. And then we've got a juice bottle, which I have decided is quite a royal character. So I added a crown, and also this was off one of our chocolates over Easter. I thought maybe like a kind of ornament for a king or a queen. I thought that could look quite good. Your first task then is, you've seen my puppets and I've given you a bit of a description. Have a look at yours. Think about what kind of voice, what kind of movement. If you haven't already gone through Rosie's video, that's a really useful one. But if you've just arrived here and you want to get going on your story, then just have a quick think about, how does your puppet talk? Does it talk, or is it just a silent puppet? It might be. And how does it move? How does it react with the other puppets? Is it someone who's scared of other puppets, or is it someone who's the boss? What kind of story might suit? That's what we're trying to think of. What kind of story might suit your puppet? So now we know about your puppet and what kind of character or characters you've got to play with. Now, I'd like you to think about what kind of story you're going to tell. Do you want it to be a true story? Is it about something that happened to you? So, for example, I might tell the story about when I was younger and the first time I went out on my bike. I went down a big hill and I fell. So it was a bit of scary, although quite exciting as well. So maybe I would make this into me, and this one could be my mum running behind saying, "Oh no, Kerry, stop." So that's one possibility. Or is it going to be a story with a message? Maybe you want to tell a story about don't drop litter, and this character is going to be the one who comes out and tells people, don't drop litter. Pick it up and take it with you. Or maybe you want to tell a story that you already know. Maybe there's a famous story, a story about a king or a queen. In my case, I've got a character that could be one of those. Maybe a fairy story or a folk story. Or maybe you want to tell a completely made up story. Have a think, what kind of story would you like to tell? Get that in your mind first. And now decide, where is your story set? So with mine, if it was my true life story, then that was in a city and we started at home, and I know who the characters are. But if I was making one up, then maybe I would say I've got a kind of king or queen character, so this could be a castle, a palace. I might think, well, I've got a kind of fish type character over here, so maybe it could be something under the sea. Maybe all the characters could be under the sea. Or maybe it happens between sea and land. Maybe one of them captures the fish, and it's a magical fish that gives them wishes. There's a lot of stories like that, aren't there? Kind of folk tales. So decide where your story is set. So I've decided on my story. I'm going to do the Emperor's New Clothes, and that's one that you might know. It's about a king or an emperor who is very vain, who gets deceived by a tailor, a dressmaker, who tells him that he can make the most amazing clothing. And it's not just beautiful clothing, it also tells people how clever they are, because if they can see the clothing, they are clever, and if they can't see the clothing, perhaps they're not right in the job that they're in. The king's very interested in this. He asks his faithful servants for their advice. They also pretend that they can see the clothing, which is not really there. And at the end, there is a child who speaks the truth. In your first scene, you want to bring in your characters or character and find out where they are and what kind of world it is. So if I was doing the Emperor's New Clothes and this is my emperor, then I would start off wanting to tell everybody how vain the emperor is, because that's the start of the story. So he might say something like this. I am the most amazing emperor. I rule this kingdom with generosity, wisdom, and kindness. I also happen to be very, very handsome. My clothing is amazing, and I am famous for how amazing I look. Next, in your story, you want something that happens, something that starts a problem or an adventure or something dangerous or exciting, something that changes the story a little bit. In this story, it is the tailor, the dressmaker, arriving and making a very bold claim, something like this. Hello everybody, I am the most famous dressmaker in the world. I can make costume which is so beautiful, so amazing, that anyone who can see the costume, I can tell how intelligent he is. Those who cannot see the costume are sadly a little bit stupid. So, if you want to know how clever your people are, you will buy my costume. It will cost you a lot of money, but it will be worth it. It will change your life. The next scene will be where the problem really starts to develop. The problem here is the tailor is not telling the truth. He's not actually making any kind of clothing. But these characters will become too embarrassed to say anything, because then they look like they're not clever and they really want to be seen as clever. So in this scene, we might have something like the dressmaker saying, "Yes, Your Majesty, I can make you the most amazing costume. It will only cost you £1 million. Maybe his courtier might say something like, "1 million? Are you sure?" "Yes, if you want quality, you have to pay." And maybe the king says, "Well, if you're really sure that that's what it costs, then that's what we must pay. I want to look beautiful." "Yes, You will look really beautiful. In the next part of the story, you want your problem or your danger or whatever is happening in your story to get worse or more intense, more exciting. Things are starting to push on, but maybe the characters don't want to accept it at first. So in this story, the king doesn't want to appear that he's not very clever, so he sends his trusted servant, Glenda, to go and see the tailor and to admire the costume. Glenda, I think it would be important that you go and check on the progress of the clothing, because I want to wear it on my parade tomorrow. And yes, I'd just like you to see how the dressmaker is getting on. Well, I don't know about that. What if I can't see it? Well, then that will mean that you're not very clever, and I know that's not true. Why don't you go? Why don't you go and see it? It's your costume. No, I think it'd be better if someone else goes. And maybe he might say to the audience, so that Glenda can't hear him, what if I can't see it? Then I'll look stupid. I don't want to look stupid. I'm the king. You go, Glenda. All right, then. Now it's up to you how long your story goes on for. If you really like improvising, writing, making things very detailed, then you might carry on. And you might have a scene between the tailor, the dressmaker, and the faithful servant. But unfortunately, he makes her feel embarrassed if she can't see the clothing, so she lies as well, she pretends. So it might go something like this. Madame, I am glad you have come to see the creation. Please, behold. Oh, what am I beholding? Behold. Can you not see it? It is the most amazing costume, no? Or are you not intelligent enough? Yeah, of course. It's lovely, isn't it? It's blue. Green. Yeah, that's what I meant. Green. It's lovely. I'll tell the king it's lovely. Well done. Now you have the main point, the high point of your story, the climax, the most dramatic bit. And for this story, it is that the king goes on his parade and he hasn't got any clothes on. But at first you might have the people waiting. So we've got Glenda feeling really nervous because she knows that this is not quite right, but she's too embarrassed to say anything. And then we've got a small child, perhaps for this one, because I've only got a cast of 4 people, 4 puppets. This one could be Glenda's son, perhaps, and he's the one who speaks the truth. So they're waiting for the parade, and I think about what kind of things they might say to each other. Right, now be quiet now, Jimmy. I don't want you calling anything out when the king comes. Why, Mummy? I'm excited to see the king. I'm really excited to see the king. Yeah, but when you see him, you might notice something odd about. Well, just don't call anything out, all right? Just remember, it's rude. I've told you it's rude. Oh, of course, Mummy. I won't call anything out. Why would I call anything out? I'll be good, Mummy. I'll be good, Mummy. And then, of course, the king arrives, And the crowd gasps in shock. So, my people, I'm on my special parade today, and I've paid a lot of money for this costume. I think you'll agree it's really something. Really something. The crowd goes quiet. The tailor is nowhere to be seen. And it is left to the small child, the fish in this story, to call out, "Blimey, he's got no clothes on." Yes, I have. It's a very beautiful costume. Children should be seen and not heard. And the last part of your story is, how does the character get over whatever problem there is? How do they resolve it? In this case, the king doesn't want to appear stupid. He's paid a lot of money for this costume, and he also feels that pressure, just in case. What will people think? So he finishes the parade, pretending there is no problem at all. Everything is fine. It's just a bit cold. And the people don't mention it again. So finally, clap for my actors, obviously. Very good, well done. I took a story that I already knew of because I thought it might make more sense to anybody watching. So that was The Emperor's New Clothes. But you could choose any story that you want. You can use a true story, a story that's happened to you or someone you know. You could use a fairy story, a folk story. You could make up something weird, wonderful, wacky. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. But the stages that we went through were, we had our puppet. So if you haven't got a puppet, make a puppet. Then you figure out how it moves and talks and what sort of character is it, how do you describe it. And then you start to create your story. Where are you? In your first scene, we want to know where we are and who are these characters. And then things start to change. Something exciting or scary or dangerous happens, something mysterious maybe, and we get pulled into the story. And then things become more difficult, the problem gets bigger, the conflict gets bigger, however you've decided to tell your story. And then there is a high point, the most dramatic bit, and then it's resolved somehow. There's a way that the characters can see the problem finishing or being sorted out, or just the story is able to come to an end, and there is an ending that the audience will understand. Or maybe you leave them with a cliffhanger, a question mark. Who knows? It is up to you, and good luck.